My twin sister tried to replace me, taught my son to call her mommy, and showed up at my husband's office pretending to be me. So I am taking my life back. I heard my sister Diane teaching my 4-year-old son to call her mommy during what was supposed to be regular babysitting. Not auntie mommy or anything playful, just mommy. When I confronted her, she said kids get confused, that it was natural since she looked so much like me. We're twins, but fraternal, and look nothing alike. She's blonde, I'm brunette, she's tall, I'm average, but she insisted we were identical, that people mixed us up constantly. Nobody had ever mixed us up, not once. She started showing up at my husband Robert's office with homemade lunches, telling his coworkers she wanted to surprise her hardworking man. His assistant called me, confused, asking why I was acting strange and wearing a wig. Robert had to explain it was his sister-in-law, not me. Diane told everyone he was covering for marital problems, that denying your wife was a red flag. Diane's obsession with birth orders started when we were 12 and our grandmother mentioned I'd been born first. 14 minutes that Diane decided had ruined her entire life. She created elaborate theories about how those 14 minutes had given me all the luck meant for her. Every good thing that happened to me was rightfully hers. Every struggle she faced was because I'd emerged first and disrupted the cosmic order. When I got into college, she said I'd stolen her acceptance letter. When I met Robert, she said he'd been destined for her until I interfered with fate. She kept journals full of calculations about how different her life would be if she'd been born first. Pages of lists detailing what I'd stolen, my eye color, my personality, my husband, my child, my house, even my career as a teacher, which she'd never shown interest in. 6 months ago, Diane started her replacement campaign, bought the same clothes as me, dyed her hair my color, and started wearing my perfume. Would show up at school events, introducing myself with my name, confusing other parents, joined my book club without telling me, sat in my usual spot, ordered my usual wine. When members questioned why I was acting differently, she said therapy had really helped her open up. Started picking up my son from daycare without permission, saying mommy had sent her, but then kept him for hours. The daycare thought they were seeing double when we both showed up one day. She'd tell my son stories about how mommy used to be different before the switch, how the real mommy was coming back soon. He started asking me if I was the temporary mommy. Last week, everything escalated beyond imagination. Diane called Robert at work, crying, saying she needed to tell him the truth about his wife. Said I was having an affair with her boyfriend, that she'd been covering for me out of sisterly love, but couldn't anymore. Robert knew she didn't have a boyfriend, hadn't dated in years. She insisted, sent him photoshopped pictures of me with random men from her gym. The editing was terrible, my head clearly pasted onto other bodies. When that didn't work, she showed up at his office in my clothes with a suitcase, saying she was leaving me. His coworkers were baffled when Robert just called security. She screamed that he couldn't throw out his own wife. Security checked her ID, saw she was Diane, and escorted her out while she insisted they check again, that IDs could be faked. That night, she came to our house with our mother, who she'd convinced I was having a mental breakdown and pretending to be myself. My mother stood in my living room, examining me like I was a stranger, asking questions only I would know. Diane had spent weeks planting doubt, showing her old photos where we looked more similar, suggesting I was acting unusually. My son ran in, saw both of us, and went straight to Diane, calling her mommy. My mother gasped, said this proved Diane was right. That's when Robert had had enough, pulled out my laptop, showed my mother the security footage from my office. Diane is attempting to seduce him while claiming to be me. Then he showed her Diane's social media, where she'd been posting as me for months, living out a fantasy life where she was married to Robert. My mother went silent, stared at Diane, who was still insisting everyone was confused. Robert pulled up more evidence. Diane had applied for credit cards in my name, tried to add herself to our bank accounts, and even attempted to file paperwork to legally change her name to mine. She'd been seeing my doctor, using my insurance, telling them she was me. The receptionist had noted how different I looked at each appointment. My mother asked Diane why. Diane broke down completely, screaming about those 14 minutes, how I'd cut in line in the womb, how she was supposed to be first, supposed to have this life. Said she'd spent 34 years living my stolen existence. My mother called Diane's therapist, whom she'd been telling that she was me in sessions. The therapist had been treating her for my supposed anxiety about my sister trying to steal my life. The irony was lost on Diane. We filed a restraining order that night. Diane moved 3 states away to live with our cousin. She still posts on social media as me sometimes, but from her own life now.